Hello, this is J83, and it's another episode of Pierre's Path to Glory, and this episode is a Hungarian Grand Prix, so looking to get even better from the podium we achieved last time out at Silverstone with the second place. So that'll be helped if we improve the car, which we're getting detail of right now. So Chris is telling me the new part that's been fitted, which is the chassis weight nose structure, which will make it slightly better in the corners, and top end speed because it's lighter obviously. Onto track climatization test, and it looks like almost a fully purple lap. There's two green corners there, which will give us easily the purple score in practice, and the 50 resource points to help improve the car yet more. Now into the qualifying sim, we're about quite a bit up on the time. I can't really see on this small screen, but so should be a purple score quite easily as well, and that'll put me expected position of 5th in qualifying. So then I'll show you the results of practice. For the first time, I think the only reason I'm doing this is because you can see Nico Rosberg has a 5-place grid penalty for some reason. I checked the race director, it turns out he crashed into Felipe Massa. So hopefully that'll give me an extra position in qualifying if I'm within 5 of Rosberg, which hopefully I should be, judging by previous results, but that's interesting to see. So he'll be 5 positions lower than he should be. But I'm to qualifying, and I'm right behind Michael Ericsson, who's also on a lap. But he's not been impeding me too much, as his teammate Nasser did in Silverstone, which was a bit annoying. So the first lap puts me in 2nd, ahead of Sebastian Vettel, which is a good sign. But now, last lap of the session, it's right at the end. I'm only half a tenth up or so, but I'm down to 6th at this point. So can this improvement get me another position? Yes, it can, up into 5th place. Ahead of Kimi Räikkönen, and that is 5th place for the Hungarian Grand Prix, which is always nice, and that will become 4th, as Nico Rosberg came 3rd, but that'll become 8th for him. So I'll be up into 4th behind Ricciardo on pole, then Hamilton, Verstappen, and myself, then Raikkonen, Vettel, my teammate Sainz, and then it'll be Rosberg. And the Sauber the man is bringing up the rear as you'd expect. Let's get on to the race.
We've seen some astonishing Grand Prix here over the years, haven't we? The drama of 2015 is a recent example. Jenson Button's first win on a wet track in 2006, or in 1997, Damon Hill's heartbreak in the Arrows after a late gearbox failure cost him what would have been the team's only ever victory. What a wonderful place this is to come racing today.
So race strategy, it looks like a 2-stop race with super softs, and I think I'm going to go mediums and then softs to the end so I can attack a bit, underfuel a lot, as I've done before this season. 4th place on the grid, 5 red lights, can we get off to a good start? Lights out and away we go. It's like a very good start compared to Verstappen, and we're getting immediately in slipstream with Hamilton, who's in 2nd. And we look to the inside, he's going to leave us a space on the inside, so we're going to enter the space. Outbrake him a little bit, but he's still alongside, he turns in, goes wide. We're ahead of Verstappen up into 3rd already, but now Hamilton goes even wider onto the curb. We take 2nd place from the Mercedes driver. So it's a very nice start, up 2 positions. Ricciardo's in the lead from myself, and then Hamilton and Verstappen. I think Sainz is just behind in 5th, which is another good start for him. And yeah, hopefully we can hold off these fast cars behind me, so I might even be able to improve on the Silverstone result and maybe get a win if Ricciardo has problems. But even a podium would be still really good. The podium at Silverstone was incredible, to say the least, and it'll be amazing if I can repeat that at any point this season. But so hopefully we can hold Hamilton and Verstappen off for the rest of this race, maybe. So now let's look at a replay of the start, lights out. Verstappen gets a very good start, Hamilton follows in, but I get immediately in the slipstream. You see in the background of the Force India coming to the middle and the McLaren going wide. Verstappen just doesn't get away very well. I go to the inside of Hamilton, outbraking, he goes wide. Williams behind dives bombs everyone. And you can see it's very, very close in the midfield. But here it is from Max Verstappen, and he just doesn't get away very well, I don't think. Yeah, you can see Ricciardo and Hamilton immediately pulling away. I then get a very good start, good launch, immediately up to 3rd place ahead of Verstappen. He has to settle for 4th, and he tries going around the outside, but Hamilton blocks him a little bit. He gets back on the side of me. Hamilton goes wide. I take 2nd place off Hamilton. Verstappen maybe thinks about a move, but then gets boxed in right behind Hamilton, so can't do anything. And I thought I'd show you Perez, because his first lap was hectic, to say the least. So lights out, away we go. I think he's about 14th place or something like that. The Haas to his left got a good start. He gets an average start, but he's in the slipstream with Button. I think this is just ahead of him. So he's going to look to the inside, absolutely dive bomb everyone, up 3 positions into turn 1, which is a decent outbreaking manoeuvre. You can see it, there's like 2 sets of 3 wide right here with Rosberg, Williams, my teammate Sainz, Alonso, and another Williams. So it's incredibly close. It's amazing how there's no contact during all of this. So then the McLaren go ahead from Sainz, and the Williams go side by side. I think Bottas gets forced out on the right hand side, Valtteri Bottas that is. Perez looks to the inside, goes at the inside of Bottas, forces him onto the curb, takes a position. But then Bottas is still at the inside, and this is a bit worrying to say the least, because it's not advisable to go side by side around Hungary in the middle section because it's incredibly twisty and difficult and narrow. Perez locks his wheels, goes wide over the curve, but then Bottas doesn't get the move done. Rosberg is still behind this pack, just losing time all the time. And Perez manages to keep that position, which is a pretty good start from the Mexican. So now on to lap 5, and Ricciardo's only still a little bit ahead. My tyres are very worn. Hamilton's right behind. He's going to have the DRS, and he goes to the outside, looks for the move. I go defensive. Can we outbrake him? Just about force him wide onto the curve. And Hamilton can't get the position this time, but it's going to look very difficult. Verstappen actually takes advantage and almost gets side by side with Hamilton, but I think the Mercedes man holds him off for the time being. So on to lap 6, I think I'm going to be pitting this lap onto the set of medium tyres to go quite long in this race. Ricciardo also pits. I come in as well as Hamilton, who's right behind, so hopefully the Toro Rosso team can do a good job and keep me ahead of Lewis Hamilton, which would be nice. And I don't know where we're going to rejoin, but it'll be somewhere in the midfield because we've actually managed to pull out quite a bit of gap as the top 4. And 2 Red Bulls, Hamilton and myself, have managed to pull quite a nice gap to the 5th place, which is currently Kimi Raikkonen from Carlos Sainz. But yeah, we managed to stay ahead of Hamilton, which is good. Ricciardo regains the net lead. I'm going to come out, looks like 14th or 13th place behind the next 2 cars. We should come out ahead of the car behind them. So it's Palmer and Gutierrez who are right behind. Hamilton actually drops behind Haryanto, which is good, because if he doesn't pass him right now, he's going to be stuck behind him for the lap, which will cost him a lot of time. And yeah, you can see on the mini-map, Hamilton's already dropped back behind Haryanto. But now Palmer and Gutierrez, it's imperative to get past as soon as possible, because if I lose any time here, Verstappen might be able to get the position. So we send one up the inside of Palmer into the corner of the last sector. Alongside with him, we're going to side by side around the long penultimate corner, around the outside. It's going to be very difficult to pass him, but the new tyres and the better car manages to come in big and we get past Julian Palmer for 12th place. But a lot of people are in the pits now, including my teammate. And we've got DRS and Gutierrez in the slipstream. Hamilton's already about 3 seconds back, which is, any time Hamilton loses now is good. But there's Verstappen going out the pits, and we just about regained a position. He goes behind Julian Palmer as well. Well, no, he doesn't, I should say. He's back out behind me, which is the main thing. We've still got DRS and Gutierrez. And Verstappen's also leapfrogged Lewis Hamilton. So that's nice for the Red Bull family. We're currently holding a net 1, 2, 3 with Ricciardo, myself, and Max Verstappen, and Hamilton in 4th. Gutierrez is kind of in my way here. He's on old tyres. I'm on fresher tyres with a better car and a better driver, if I do say so myself. So we need to get past him as soon as possible. Look to the inside. Before that Gutierrez, he lets me through, and that is 6th place. And hopefully Verstappen will get stuck behind Gutierrez for some time, and I get a bit of a gap to him. So now on to lap 13. 5 laps later, Verstappen has cleared both Palmer and Gutierrez, and now he's going to have a go at me because at the inside, I'm around the outside. He's got to leave me the space. He can't get a good turn in there, so I'm right around the outside. It's going to be very close between myself and Verstappen, the 2 Red Bull young drivers, and he manages to get the position. But I can send one up the inside, a bit of a lunge, or a dive bomb if you will, and send one up the inside of turn 2, and that is the position regained from Verstappen on lap 14, still in 2nd place. We've got quite a nice second cushion to Hamilton at this point, so as long as we don't cost each other too much time, it should be okay. But now I've gone wide in turn 2, Verstappen's got a nice exit, and it looks like he's going to be applying the pressure for this lap, definitely. So Verstappen's got a very good exit. He's going to go for the inside into turn 4, which is never advised because it's very difficult to go side by side. We saw with Perez and Bottas earlier. Hamilton's now right behind. I've broken on the dirty side of the track. He's gone wide onto the curve. Verstappen's up the inside. We're going side by side to the chicane. This is not going to end well. Go right around the outside, try it, make a bit of contact. Go over the yellow DHL sign. Illegal overtaking on Verstappen, obviously, but Hamilton's managed to get the pair of us. So that is opportunistic from the Brit in the Mercedes, but now a good exit on Verstappen, undercut him, and that is back into 3rd. But unfortunately, there's no change in position between me and Verstappen, but Hamilton managed to get the pair of us, which is very good move, and he'll like that a lot up into 2nd place, and he can now pressurise Ricciardo for the lead. But now Verstappen's going back up the inside on lap 18. It's difficult to keep up with all this lunging that's happening with Verstappen and myself. Side by side now towards turn 2, he's got DRS, I don't. And looks like I've got the better run though. He's around the outside, which is going to be difficult to make the move stick there, and he doesn't make the move stick. So I regain 3rd place for the time being. It's a very hectic race at the minute, and once again, Verstappen has the DRS. There's only really 2 overtaken places on this track, so that's why every highlight is just Verstappen trying to overtake me into turn 1. But once again, we see him off, regain 3rd, and hopefully we keep this to the end and even get a podium. But lap 22 now. We're coming into the pits for the 2nd time onto the soft tyres. Verstappen carries on for a lap as Ricciardo gets the priority as the lead car. So we hopefully can undercut Verstappen, get a bit of a gap to him after he pits. Hamilton's got quite a bit of a gap to me he's already made his pit stop. He must be about 5 seconds ahead. So coming for the soft tyres, Carlos Sainz is also in the pits as well, so I might have screwed his race a little bit, but I'm sure we'll get over it. So Rosberg is going to get passed into 5th place. He's not really recovered from getting stuck behind the battling midfield cars, but now we're going to be behind Jenson Button, which is not a good sign because that means he's going to cost me time on this outlap. And any time I gain here will help me defend from Verstappen for longer in the once Verstappen makes his pit stop. So I need to get past Button as soon as possible to make this undercut work, and it looks like we're going for it now up the inside, force Button wide, and that is quite an easy move once as we make it look like it's quite easy. But now lap 24, Verstappen's in the pits, and yeah, the gap is much bigger now thanks to that undercut. So we've got about a 1.5 second gap to Verstappen. Hopefully we can hold this to the end and maybe get a podium with only 10 laps to go now pretty much. But now with 4 laps to go, Verstappen is still right behind me. He's made the gap up, and it looks like he's going to be once again pressurising me as he was for the entire second stint. I can hopefully hold him off until the end of the race and get another podium is the main aim. But side by side, Verstappen goes up the inside, but we managed to hold him off. He's in the position to lunge, but thinks better of it into turn 2. So still in 3rd place with only 2 laps to go. So that means I need like 2 more opportunities really for Verstappen to try and pass, because only really turn 1 or turn 2, if you don't make the past it, is a viable position to overtake. So he's going to go for it once again on lap 33. There's only 3 laps remaining now. Verstappen goes around the outside this time. Nico Hülkenberg a lap down just ahead of me. I go wide, Verstappen gets a good exit. He's going to be in the right position to try and overtake into turn 2, but he doesn't go for it. I'm on worn tyres at this point. Verstappen's tyres are slightly newer as he pitted a lap later, so he's got the tyre advantage at this point. I missed the turn in because I'm messing around with fuel, I think, so that isn't very good. Verstappen's going to go up the inside of turn 4 once again, as he did earlier in the race. I have to go wide, go over the white line, and we're getting the position for now, but then once again brake on the dirty side of the track, miss the turn in for turn 6, I think this is, and Verstappen gets a position into the chicane, but I'm going to try and hold it around the outside with the undercut move. But unfortunately, Verstappen's just got the tyre advantage too much, so he manages to get 3rd place off me, which isn't very good. And this is my only chance now to try and get back that 3rd place. And it's going to have to be a dive bomb because we're not very close, but it's going to be a bit risky, but hopefully I can make it stick. DRS on Verstappen, we've got down into turn 1 and then into turn 2. It's the final lap of the Grand Prix, so it's all or nothing for this podium. Don't make it into turn 1, but now we try and get a good exit out of turn 1, down towards turn 2. The rear tyres are quite worn, so it's not the best traction. It's going to have to be pretty do or die, and we don't make it by the looks of things, so it's going to be risky if we try and overtake any other part of the track really. So it looks like Max Verstappen's in the driving seat to try and get 3rd place and relegate me to 4th, which would be disappointing. But now we get a good exit on Verstappen. He leaves the space, he go for a move, but he cuts me off, and unfortunately that is pretty much it, because I go on the curb, lose a lot of time. Verstappen's going to pull away. Ricciardo has won the race. The final lap of the Grand Prix, my tyres just sort of went over the edge, and Hamilton comes 2nd. Verstappen is going to get 3rd place. I get 4th, which is still a very, very strong result, but it's not the podium we were after. So 4th place in the Hungarian Grand Prix, which isn't that bad at all.
Great drive, great drive. We're really happy with that performance.
And I can see now the drivers are making their way out. We need Red Bull fighting at the front. They do an incredible amount for Formula 1. And that's another winner's trophy heading back to Milton Keynes. So then,
Results then, Ricciardo wins from Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Myself in 4th place, ahead of both Ferraris and Nico Rosberg, which is very nice. Carlos Sainz is the best of the rest in 8th place. And I think the McLaren's round up the points. Driver standings, it's Hamilton, Ricciardo, Rosberg. Ricciardo gains that position up into 2nd place. Hamilton's got a massive lead at this point, so it's looking like his title to lose. I'm still in 6th. I lose a few points in the gap to Verstappen because he beat me, but gain a lot of points on the 2 cars behind, Valtteri Bottas and Kimi Räikkönen. Still in 6th place, which I would take because I'm ahead of a Ferrari, which is very good. So there's still quite a gap in the constructors. As to Carlos Sainz isn't really doing amazingly, or he's not doing as well as me, but he's still doing well. We get quite a good gap to Williams after this round. So hopefully 4th place is the aim in the constructors. But now onto the resource points for the whole weekend, and we're going to get the first driver bonus as well. So yeah, it's looking good. We're not going to get an upgrade this race because we've not got quite enough, but that's been the end of this video. I hope if you've enjoyed, then leave a like. If you want to see more, then subscribe and listen to JY83, and I will see you next time.